Okay, so if I'm gonna make the world's best scrambled eggs, first thing I start with is a little lubrication. You know, in life in general, I have discovered that most things go a little better with a little lubrication. I'm just saying. So, I just lubricated up this here Teflon free coated pan. That's wonderful stuff out there, Teflon. I remember when it hadn't been invented yet. Oh, didn't we have fun with them old cast iron pans? But so I got a little Teflon in my pan there. I'm gonna set it over here because I ain't ready for it yet, because the bacon's still fixing itself up. But I got my cheese all cut up for the eggs. So there's my pan, there's my cheese. Next thing I'm gonna need is the eggs. I might as well bring them eggs, go over here and put them in that pan. I'll go ahead and do that while that bacon's getting ready. I'll just do that right over here. Let me gather me up a few eggs out of the refrigerator. I'm kind of glad I got eggs in the refrigerator. That way I don't have to go out in the yard and chase no chickens around, you know, like my mama used to do when she was a little girl. You know, I was a boy, we had chickens. We had 500 head of chicken down in the chicken barn. Me and my brother used to have to go pick eggs in the morning. And then we'd have to grate them and wash them. Well, I guess we washed them and then graded them. And then my mom, I had a big old 53 Cadillac, and we'd load them. After my eggs was washed and graded and packed up in cartons like this here, we'd load them in there, and she had an egg run. She used to drive around to the local restaurants and stores and deliver fresh eggs. Fresh out of the chicken, pretty much, yeah. So that's what we used to do. That's one of the things we used to do when I was a kid. But we'd done moved out in the country. Of course, my folks was farm folks. After the war, they moved into the city. Got jobs in the factory, you know, but it didn't take them too long to figure out that with all the different various sundry bad influences that existed in the city, that they was actually a lot better off living in the country. So they kept their jobs in the city, but they drove out of town and bought a place with some land, and that's where me and my brother mostly grew up. Of course, he grew up a little bit more in the city than I did because he was older than me, and that's why he turned out worse than I did. But you know, other than that, and the fact that he's older than me, because the thing about being a younger kid is you learn all the mistakes. You watch your brother getting in trouble all the time and kind of figure out, oh, I shouldn't do that. I'll get a whooping. You know, you see your brother get a whooping for getting caught smoking cigarettes or something like that, and you kind of think, huh, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't get caught. So it saves you a lot of whoopings when you get to see your older brother getting all the whoopings, you know, I'm just saying. So anyway, here now, I got my eggs in the pan. I got my cheese here. So what I'm going to do, now watch this part. This part right here is very crucial. Is I'm going to just dump my eggs right in there in the pan with all that cheese, or vice versa. You're going to dump the cheese in there with all them eggs. See that? Oh, isn't that lovely? Here, I'll give you a close-up. Woo! So I still got my bacon over here. Let me get my bacon up off the stove, and I'll bring them eggs over here. We'll scramble them up. Now I'm gonna bring this over here, and I'm gonna pluck my bacons out of there. I'll put them on this here plate. It'll be kind of draining off, and I'll pour that leftover grease in a tin can I got picked out here just for that purpose. I got me a little can I brought in. I had nails in it, but I didn't need it for nails as much as I needed it to put this grease in. So I don't pour that grease down the drain because it'll stop up my pipes and all. I used to would make up gravy, but I think that'll stop up my pipes too in a different kind of way. Oh, you don't want to burn your fingers when you do this. It's best if you don't hold on to the can. I'm just dumping that right out of the corner there. Right into the can. Oh, there she goes. Oh. Alrighty then. So, here's my bacon. Got my bacon. Here's my eggs. I'm going to put my eggs over here. I turn this eye off, and I'll turn this one here on. I'm going to turn it kind of fast at first just to kind of get a little sizzle going, and then I'm going to turn it down because my goal is to cook these eggs really slow. And I use a little wooden spoon like this one right here. And what I do as they're cooking is I don't let them get tight. I don't let them rest. I start stirring them around right away. because my goal is to keep them moving. You got to keep these eggs moving as you're cooking them. If you just let them sit, they'll cook all solid like a, oh, I don't know, like an outdoor carpet. You know those doormat thingies that you sit outside the door there? Well, if you just let this cook, it'll cook up and have about the texture of one of them, and that ain't really what you want. What you want is something kind of light and fluffy and tastyable, you know. So if you keep these eggs moving while they're cooking, then gradually a little bit of parts of them will start to stick to the pan around the edge. And as they do, I just keep raking them off and stirring them and raking them off and stirring them. I got the heat a little higher. I usually think it works better to cook them a little slower, but it kind of gives the cheese time to melt. But I like to get them started to cook so that you can tell. See, they're not sticking around the edges yet. That means that basically they're not cooking yet. The pan hadn't got hot enough. But once it starts cooking, I'm going to slow the heat down, but I'm going to keep up the kind of movement. I want to keep moving them around. Just keep moving them around. Yep, I don't want them to sit. I don't want them to be sitting. I want them to be moving around while they're cooking. I'm going to cook them while they're moving. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm cooking them while they're moving. Yep, that's what I'm doing. So I'll cut y'all off till it starts cooking, then I'll bring you back so that you can see it.